Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's another beautiful edition of TimGodfreyWorld show, and I'm super excited because I am the one that will interview the person that normally interviews other people. So I am interviewing the interviewee, whatever you call it. I have an amazing person. They said he used to be, or the first ever black sheep of his family. Oh, from Odigo. Am I right? In Ondo State.
Yeah.
He's a hype man, TV host, OAP, who interests always receive transistor. But this thing is right for your plenty. Anyways, I love my guy from the D to the O to the T-U-N Do2dtun.
Hey, how are you, man?
Let's bomb my mouth straight up. How are you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm very good. So, I would always repeat this question again. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very fine. I mean, I can say that. I can't say that for everybody else, but I know I am very fine, even with the whole Corona, COVID-19 going on. I mean, the fact is we all have to say we're fine, enough for everybody to feel they're fine. But the truth is, I mean, we can't say more than the fact that, I mean, God is good. We have to keep working hard, focusing on our journey and pushing. I mean, for me, I'll say I'm good.
For you personally, did the pandemic, did it affect you? Or what ways did it affect you personally?
You know, to be honest, if I want to be very honest with you, I think you just made, it was a good time not a great time for everybody and not for me too, but I think for the first time, if you work and your job is high energy, it was nice for you to pause at some point. And also, it also made me discover other things about myself. I mean, right now I'm thinking of having my own distribution company, a distro company of my own, because the truth is, the two questions you need to ask yourself, you have essential services, you have non-essential services. What the COVID taught you and I, everybody else is, you also need to start thinking you cannot even stick to just one job. And what that means is, as much as you're doing non-essential services, you need to do certain things that at the end of the day, if there's a war, if there's hunger, if there's anything in the world, you will still make money. And that's the thing I figured that, at some point, music is good. Even during the war, somebody like Marilyn Monroe, she shut down. They said, okay, we're shooting ourselves, but she's coming to do a show here, so let everybody pause. So music was really good at that time. So virtually, people, like a lot of musicians blew during that time, whether you like it or not. Likes of Omalay blew up. Ajibor Hustlers, they blew up. I can call tons of names of guys that, put out music at that time and they blew up. So for me, it just made me start to think that, there are other things I could do aside just even being there and being out there.
Now, let's dig into you.
Okay.
I'm really fascinated at people say I have a lot of energy, but this is the energy god. How are you able to blend? I know you started something else now, but how are you able to blend whether being an OAP, an amazing dancer? I don't even know whether you're a professional dancer.
Okay.
And then you are also a hype man. So how are you able? What happens to your head when you wake up in the morning?
Now, the truth about me is, people keep asking me, my very first question is why. What's the motivation in what you're doing? First of all, I don't want to go back to where I started from because, let's be honest. If you lived I lived in a one room as a kid in Surulere, that's in Aguda. Shout out to all my people in Yariri for many years, and I saw what it felt like when you come back and things are really tough. Shout out to my dad and my mom, they did a good job. My dad is a very liberal person. He loves God but doesn't go to church. My mom is over 30-something years, deeper life. She's been there.
And they are cool together?
They're very cool. Because the thing is, they have a different understanding of how she should. And that's why I grew up from a diverse in religion. And that's why sometimes I'm open-minded. I'm sometimes free-spirited. But I also love the gathering of saints.
Exactly. I'm performing.
Yeah.
Don't you
I believe you have to go. There's an energy when you have to sit in a congregation and you guys share, the word of God. It's a big deal for me. So for me, I understand the God that I serve and I love him unconditionally, So, but for me, I just didn't want to go back to where I started from. Because, I just felt like I could be that kid who could just step out and be the biggest thing in the world. I mean, I'll be honest, I never really thought I would be a superstar, but I know I had imaginations in my head on the kind of things that I do. So for me, getting up in the morning every time is, the first thing is, I'm not going back to where I started from. I've stepped away from that life. I want to be able to teach a lot of kids that, you could grow from anywhere, streets, anything, and be better in what you're doing. So for me, now putting all those things together, because my first love was dance. Rest in peace. The only musician that I passed that I really cried for was Michael Jackson, because I used to watch him a lot. I used to watch a show called Jim with Robson. I think it was on TRL, where he teaches people how to do moves and stuff. He was a very popular dancer at that time. So I watched those shows, and I grew up to learn moves. And then I started a dance group back then in the university called Extreme Dancers, which we only dance to gospel music at that time, But people used to laugh at me and think it was crazy. Because I used to come to school with a radio recorder or a deck in my bag, So people just thought. And then I was in school. I went to School of Communication, LASU, and there was nothing fun about it. So I just said, you know what? I just put a deck down in an open space and I danced. And people joined before I started a group called Extreme. And then I joined another dance group that I had, was Ignite. I think at that time, I used to dance at university. I go to University of Lagos to train, and I used to see Wande Cole then. Wande Cole's a fantastic dancer, but, and that's how I grew. Grew up in the business, and I started to do a lot of shows, secular music. From there, I moved into doing gospel, into secular music, and that was it. But I just didn't want to go back. And then also, being on radio was just something I've always loved as well, because my dad used to buy me transistor radios on my birthdays. My dad didn't really care about birthdays, but he just felt, you know what? The only thing is, on birthdays, he believes you need to go to school, you got to get the right education, you need to always do things differently. So he just said, buy a transistor radio, there's never power, listen to the radio. So I used to listen to a lot of shows like Voice of America, then I used to listen to a lot of big shows then. I was very big on TV and radio. So there was shows like Boromiro, even indigenous shows that I watched on NTA. And then, I was very big on TV and radio. I used to listen to AM radio then, back to FM, AM radio. And that was how it kicked off.
Do you ever know as a child that you are going to be a superstar? Do you ever think about exactly what you want to do? Because I have a lot of young people every time meeting and they're confused. Your case, was it a thing of as a child, you knew that you were going to be on radio as you were growing up in primary school and stuff, with dance, and was it something that you always wanted to do, or it just happened as you were growing up, or was you knew it from the start?
The truth is, there's a problem with a lot of the young people now. There's a there's a level of entitlement, just so much that they feel like I need to get here and make it the next day. That's a big problem. I didn't think I was going to be a superstar, but there are things that I knew and I figured that I loved, because I'll be honest, from day one, the only thing I figured out was I knew I wanted to do mass communication. I wanted to do something in media and art. Now, the only thing I feel a lot of young people don't do these days is one thing. They don't focus on one. See, you might have a lot of talents and a lot of things, but you need to focus and say, this is what I want to get right. Now, if you say, you pick one thing and say, this thing is what I want to get right and focus on it, that's when it comes out to be and it blossoms. But the problem is, you can be a jack of all trade. Like for me, I'm a jack of all trade. I acted at radio, I've been on TV, but the thing is still within the space of what I can control. So there's a lot of things about decisions you need to make. Sometimes it starts from when you're younger. Sometimes you even go a wrong path and you find yourself. So for me, the thing was that I said, I want to do mass communication. It's media, and anything that surrounds that theme is what I want to focus on. If you bring anything medicine, it's not going to fly. If you bring something about numbers and accounting, it's not going to fly with me because I don't get it.
Never.
Exactly. So, but the thing, you bring anything that has to do with, communication, media, marketing, strategy, advertising, it's still within that space. And because even in school, I did mass communication, but I majored in advertising and public relations. So I also still like the idea of how things can start from scratch and get to, to maturity level. So I like the idea of strategy. I like the idea of building or something really small that grows to something big. I love ideas like that. So, I found that strength in communication and media.
Let's talk about entertainment now.
Yeah.
Now tell me, where do you think, two questions, where do you think that the entertainment industry is right now? Because you are really around everything that you do. What's your prospect? What do you think is going to happen in the future?
Truthfully, first of all, like I said, I want to say this boldly. There's a lot of things we have, but we've not made the best use of it. From resources to the kind of resilience that we have, which I feel the resilience is good, but I'm saying from resources to the type of products that we have, the kind of people, intellects that we have, and the things that we can do as a nation. You know, we have a lot of things we've not made the best use of, but there's just one thing. If we don't have anything, just the way Timothy said one time, but we have music. That's why you can see the advent of Afrobeat, what it has done to the entertainment as a whole. And even if you come to the gospel space, Nigerian acts are the ones who break out the most, even in the gospel space. You get what I'm saying? So the thing that has been more of our strength, the fact that we don't stay in a box. And that's to tell you that, for example, that we have Grammy nominations now. All these things happened during the COVID-19 period. Like, no, not even that. It's been happening since. The Femi had 2 nominations. Shout out to King Son, they had a nomination in 1984, 1985. Then, so it's been the fact that we don't stay in a box. So for me, we're in a good place. Now we're starting collaborations with international acts. We can bring, Nigerians have brought, somebody was talking to me about Jay-Z. I said, Nigeria, we brought Jay-Z and Beyonce almost how many years ago? The same night. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Missy Elliott, the same night. Busta Rhymes, Ja Rule, think of anybody, 50 Cent, Shaggy, Usher, they've all been to Nigeria. That's to tell you that for music, and if you notice, we have a sound that everybody's jumping on now. I mean, Drake featured Wizkid on the song. Beyonce wanted to do a collaborative album with Africa. We had Wizkid. We had almost 3 Nigerians in that. So, truthfully, we're in a good place. The only thing is, we should be able to, we have good exports. Now, those things and those recognition are things that can bring in investors. Because right now, I'll be honest, let me tell you how good it is. We have companies like Shazam, they come to Nigeria. Apple Music, all of them, Shazam, Audiomack, Spotify just came into Nigeria. They will not come. We might see that what's going on, but they see the things that they see that maybe we don't see. So for me, music is in a good place. We just need to know how to structure it properly. For example, I'll be honest, if I want to be honest with you, if not because of the level of hard work that you have, one of your biggest hits should make your lifetime bread. You don't even have to move a muscle. Because to be honest, if you make your song, Narikili, right? I'm very correct about that. It's a hit song. But you know what those songs do for you? If there's a proper structure, that's bread till you die. Because that thing is bread. It's not, you don't have to go for gigs to make money. But that's where I'm talking about the structure. If we get those things right, we're at bars, restaurants, radio stations, places or TV stations, churches are playing your song and they are paying for those rights and paying for those, plugs. Just think about it. You know how much you're gonna make? You're gonna make a lot of money.
Sure.
And that's what the thing is. The structure has to be in place. I'm happy now, right now, that we're now thinking of branching out and distributing. Nigerians now understand distribution now.
Yeah.
It was not the other.
Because before
it was Alaba.
Normally, when we release song, we say download. We are begging people to download for free. Download. Now suddenly the language has changed.
No, now you stream. Yeah.
Free ads.
That's the thing.
All of those things. Alaba by itself died.
Yeah.
They just took their bags and just walked away by themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody, because also the from the government part of it, from the legislative part of it, are there anything they would have done differently?
Absolutely. Like for example, Alaba was seen as the hub where music passes through to get to other parts of the world. It should have been come back into maybe in a way to call bootlegging, copyright, and then they will have structured them properly. Even Alaba as a whole, if they were smarter, they will have structured what they've been doing because now they had the width.
So you're selfish.
Exactly. So, but it's because of the laws that are not enforced or empowered, and that's why it was easy for these things to happen. But truthfully, imagine the kind of works, and that's why you see legends who still be eating now, not be scratching and feeding off the table. It's crazy. So That's the only thing I think. I think the music is good, but the structure is not good.
So, would you have done anything differently, like in your life? Would you? Is there anything
Right, for me, if there's anything I would have done, to be honest, because I like the idea. My mom was a nurse for about 30 years before she retired. I had an uncle, great guy, Dr. Kaide. He's one of the best gynecologists that I know. I lived with him, and I like the idea of, maybe he was gonna inspire me to want to do medicine. But the thing is, I'll have been a wrong doctor because for some reason, I'm the kind of doctor that I will have forgotten the season inside somewhere. I have a low attention span and certain things. And if you need to be a doctor, you're a nurse, you have to have your attention span has to be 100%. And that I cannot guarantee. So if I've done anything and I said I've probably been a doctor, but I'm not even sure which one of it. Maybe a herbalist or probably a doctor. But I'm only saying for me, because I know at the end of the day, I mean, if it had to be something I have to incantation, it's a bit theatric for me, but I don't think I can really sit down to be. So maybe I'll have been a doctor, but I know definitely with all the things I've said, it wouldn't have made sense. So I think I'm in the right place, to be honest.
I want to also check on you as far as the gospel industry is concerned. Do you think that there is anything? Have they done well? Is there anything they could do differently? I'm not sure how much you listen to them, but I know you go to church because I've seen you in church a couple of times. So what do you think about the gospel industry?
So there's a lot of things gospel music in Nigeria. There's a lot of things that I feel, and this is me speaking for you guys. Music should not have a barrier. I feel like your space, you guys are boxed so much, and we're also to be blamed too, because the truth is, and that's why if you notice, I'm one of the few that try to break and feel like, you know what, why can't radio music be played in daytime radio? You were on my show. Simon Post has been on my show before. Annie has been on my show before. Funky Akinokon has been on my show before. And it's proper daytime radio. It doesn't have to. It shouldn't be music played on the weekend. That's what I feel, and that's why we gotta respect likes of Dan Foster who broke that jinx. I gotta respect him. So rest in peace. I mean, great guy who just said, you know what, it's music. It should not be about who's speaking about God or not or anything. But I feel at the end of the day, if it's good music and it's good and it fits the parameters of whatever you're trying to, of your establishment, should play. For us, we understand that we've been able to create shows which we break out. Sometimes, like Flo Rocka was a song played on daytime radio. Mercy Chinwo she had a song played on daytime radio. The truth is, we just need to start, and this is me speaking for you guys, and I feel also you guys, you have to be together. Work together. I feel like in your space, you guys are not together. Everybody's preaching the same thing. No, we're serving the same thing, we're preaching things differently. I mean, you can hold me for that, it's fine. But the truth is, I'm just speaking to you outside the box because you're not together. The thing is, for example, someone like a Tim Godfrey, he sings. I mean, that's the thing. If whatever they do, whatever his lifestyle is, and whatever you want to see, it might be different from what you think it is. Why should it be based on what you think? And now that segregation starts from your industry. It should start. People feed off the things they almost get from what you guys, your peers. It starts from there. I'm talking as a guy who's someone here, because it's almost like, you guys be speaking the same language, same truths. You get what I'm saying? So, but even if somebody trying to be there, it's not about that. You also have to feel like everybody, and that's the truth. That's what we feed off. That's what we see. If I feel if everybody comes together and says this is what it is, and that's what's different with people in the secular music. They push the same narrative. They might be different in lifestyle, but they all push the same narrative. Everybody's talking about Afrobeat and saying this is what we want to do and this is it. So if everybody's saying this is gospel music and this is what we want, and you guys have numbers, so why can't you do it?
Hey guys, my name is Tim Godfrey. I know that you have enjoyed this episode of my podcast. Please do me a favor. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notes. Okay. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, turn on your post notification. Listen, it will bless you. You will have fun. You will laugh. You will cry. You will enjoy every bit of it. And most importantly, it is what it is.